see the record. I'd like to welcome everybody to the June 24th, 2020 Pelham Board of Education meeting. Would everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Sue, could we please have a reiteration of the executive session motion?
Yes, the board met in executive session tonight to discuss the employment of a particular person, potential litigation, collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of Civil Service Law, and the employment of already got that one. Never mind. We're all good.
Great.
Thank you so much. So welcome everybody to our last official meeting of this school year and of this fiscal year. Seemed at some points this year like we'd never get to this moment, so here we are. On behalf of the Board of Education, I wanted to thank our voters for supporting the 2020-21 school budget, as well as the cost reallocation proposition that will provide us with a lot of flexibility with our bond project. As a community and as a district, we face really uncertain times and diminished economic climate that we didn't see coming. It certainly didn't seem possible when we started the school year out, or even just 3 months ago when we really started finalizing the budget. As we look forward to next year, we feel very lucky that we have the support from the community to support all the offerings that we want to provide to our students and the robust opportunities for them, and also to provide all the support that our students and our staff will need when we get back to school in the fall. I also want to send some well wishes. I think we have 15 retirees. Do I have that correct? I count.
That sounds about right.
Sounds right. I went through the list. I counted. You are leaving very big shoes to fill, and all of you together, that's a lot of shoes. And I'm really just so pleased for all of you guys. You have a new chapter in front of you, and just on behalf of the board, want to congratulate you and wish you our best. It's been a pleasure to work with each of you. So thank you, and we'll look forward to hearing the honors tonight. And just finally, one last reminder about public comment. If anybody wants to write in for public comment, they would need to email me before 9 o'clock at jddomenico@pelhamschools.org. And please include your name and your Pelham Street address. So again, thank you again to the public on behalf of the board for putting trust in our schools and in the Board of Education.
Okay, Jess, I think we've got to do minutes first.
You were on mute, Jess.
Oh, I was on mute. I was saying that. Did you hear any of what I said, or was I mute?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Okay. I think I'm so used to talking and then muting. So you heard my opening remarks, and now I'm moving on to section 3. I was saying it, but you couldn't hear me. Approval of the minutes. I'd like to take a consent for 3.1 through 3.3. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Sue. Second?
Second.
Okay. Thanks, Eileen. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, section 4 is administrative and committee reports. Section 4.1 is superintendent's report. Dr. Camp.
Great, thank you. I'll keep it very short because we want to get on to the main event, which is the next item. But as Jessica said, I too want to thank our community for the support of our schools. This was, as with everything else, an unprecedented year when it comes to school votes, unprecedented turnout for a regular vote, and really appreciative of our community for the continued support of our schools, which will equip us well as we go into a very unknown future. So we send our extreme thanks to them for that. I do want to highlight one special thing tonight. As most of our parents and students know, over the past 2 weeks, we've had a lot of moving up ceremonies. We had our last one last night with the middle school, and I just want to take a moment to especially thank Steve Rivera, who is behind the scenes even on tonight's meeting, for his incredible help and work with all of our principals, with our teachers, and all of the building staff that were so involved in putting together everything from senior awards to the 5th grade moving up to the 8th grade moving up, and doing just a tremendous professional job and doing so much all at once. So I definitely little round of applause virtually for Steve Rivera, the man behind the scenes who makes it all happen and makes us all look good. Thank you, Steve. With that, I actually want to move right into tonight's big event. We have a number of people with us here tonight to celebrate and to be celebrated. So I'm going to actually suggest tonight, as we go through this, I'm going to suggest we go in reverse order from the bottom of the list up. And I would add, we've got many of our retirees are here tonight. They were not all able to be with us, but we do still want to honor them. So we are still going to read the comments about each, whether they're here or not. They've given so much to the district for so many years combined. So whether they're at home watching, whether they can't watch tonight and maybe can watch a recording another night, I think it's just great and important that we are able to share some comments about them tonight. So we've got various administrators that are going to help with this process throughout, those who have been very close to these outstanding professionals that have worked on our staff and faculty. So we're going to begin tonight. I'm hoping John Condon made his way to over to this link. I think he was our first. Oh, no, I'm sorry, my mistake. I'm going to start, I start off, and then we'll be going to, I think, to Susan Gilbert to do some comments, and then to John. So tonight, although she can't be with us, I wanted to start just by some words to honor Lana Svetanova. Lana has been our data analyst. Many people in the district who work in the district know her well, but those outside the district may not know who she is. She serves in what has become one of the most key roles in any district over these last years. So Lana Zadanova has been really the perfect person to serve as the district's data analyst for the past 19 and a half years. She went to university and held her first programming and analyst position in Kiev, Ukraine. When she moved to the US, she then put her meticulous analytical skills to work as an office assistant, applications developer, database analyst, and hospital clerk before finally arriving in Pelham in August of 2000. In her role, she has taken on more and more data reporting requirements, as New York State Education Department was always good at adding to the plate of responsibilities, and yet not so good at taking any off of those plate of responsibilities. As education has become more and more data-driven over the past decades, Lana literally has become the keeper of the keys on all data points, inputs and outputs related to students and learning. Yet, while she spends her days meticulously reviewing data and making sense of numbers and how it connects to learning and to instruction, she never loses sight of the people that she works with. She's always willing to help, to find solutions, and always in her no-nonsense way. You never need to check the weather report if Lana's around, as she is ready in it with those weather conditions, which certainly helped me anytime I had to think about closing early or closing after school activities due to snow. Lana is smart and funny and cares deeply about doing her work in the most professional and excellent manner. She leaves big color-coded shoes to fill, but we wish her the best in all of the joy that she deserves in retirement. Lana, even though you're not with us tonight, we celebrate and honor you. Thank you so much for your years of service to the district. Our next honoree this evening is Michelle Rivera, and I'm going to invite Susan Gilbert, I believe, to say a few words about Michelle.
Hi, everybody. Michelle retired March 17th. You can imagine retiring March 17th. We had a town meeting planned for her. Every student had written a little note about advice and that love is the best medicine. And so Michelle had planned to go to Florida and retire, but as you know, her plans got interrupted. Michelle was with us for 6 years prior to that at Hutchinson School and at OLPH before that. And, you know, her commitment to doing what was right, both for the district and for the children and for the health and well-being of them was unwavering. She, what stands out to me was how she advocated for teaching children with medical issues to advocate for themselves, how to do self-care, how to manage their own medical needs. And I know firsthand how important that is. And so I know that in whatever she does next, in the next chapter of her life, she will continue to really teach people, whether the old, which I know she has worked with, or the young, how to take care of themselves. So wish you the best, Michelle. You will get to Florida. I know you will.
Congratulations, Michelle, and thank you so much. Thank you for your years. Next, I'm going to invite John Condon to share just a few words about Phil Chopak. Phil's not able to be with us tonight either, but John, if you could just say a few words on his behalf.
Yes, ma'am. I prepared some notes. Phil Chopak retired just around Christmas time, but tonight I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Phil Chopak. Mr. Chopak retired from the school district after working as a night custodian at the high school for more than 15 years. I personally only worked with Mr. Chopak for a brief amount of time, but at that time, it was clear to me that Mr. Chopak was above all else a gentle man. We said that Mr. Chopak was the kind of person that would do anything to help the district and never complained. He cared deeply for the children of Pelham and took pride in his work. Pelham schools are a better place because of Mr. Chopak. I wish him a long and happy retirement.
Great. Thank you so much. And I thank Phil. He used to clean my office, and it was always perfect. I could trust him with anything in that place. So thank you so much. We miss him already. Next, we'll move to someone who is with us this evening. And I am going to invite Janine Carr to honor our teaching assistant, Patricia Rondina.
Pat Rondina has served as our library teaching assistant for the past 26 years. Mrs. Rondina has shared her love of books with so many Prospect Hill children. She has been the friendly face that has always welcomed our pre-K children into Prospect Hill, along with her good friend, Library Bear. Her work in the library has helped so many kids connect a piece of literature to their lives. Teachers shared how Pat never wanted class to finish. They would be at the door ready to pick up their kids, and she was still teaching right up until the last minute. Even when they were lined up and walking down the stairs, you could still hear Pat sharing her words of wisdom with the kids. She utilized every second with her students. The staff at Prospect Hill refer to Pat as a friend, a colleague, and even wise grandma. Whenever anyone needed a book or even mentioned a unit of study that they were in, she would appear at the door with a stack of books bigger than her, and she would give teachers guidance as to which ones were the most interesting and which books would support their teaching the best. She would also do the same for kids, asking them and guiding them to find the perfect book that they could take home. One anecdote I'll share with Pat that I think truly speaks to who she is as a professional was last year. Prospect Hill actually opened up the year with the library being closed to the children. And so one day I'm walking down the hall and I see Pat again carrying a stack of books bigger than her, at least 20 books in her hand. And I said, Pat, you know, what are you doing? Do you need help? And of course, her answer is always, no, you're busy. I got this. And so I followed her into the classroom and I said, but Pat, what are you doing? And she said, oh, I'm doing book exchange. Is that okay? I mean, my first thought was, that okay? That's amazing. She had set up time for each of the kids to search books on their Chromebooks, write down potential titles. She always had them write 2 or 3 because she wanted to make sure they had a book that they really loved. She would then go to the library, locate all the books, check them out for the kids, and then hand deliver them to the children. She did this for over a month for 340 children. To say that Pat doesn't skip a beat and never slows down is truly an understatement. She's a true professional, to say the least. Pat, your dedication and passion for developing a love of reading in children is unparalleled. They look forward to book exchanges, always leaving the library with a big smile. Much like a good book, retirement is about beginnings and endings. Thank you for everything you have done for Prospect Hill up until your ending. And we wish you a beginning filled with fun times with your daughters and your grandchildren, and of course, lots of good books. On behalf of your Prospect Hill family, happy retirement.
Thank you, Mrs. Carr. Our next,
Sorry.
okay. Our next honoree tonight is Carla Mattis. And I don't think Carla was able to be with us, but I'm going to ask Janine Clark if you would share some words about Carla for us.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Champ. So before arriving in the middle of 2006 and 2007 school year and becoming a Pelham Pelican, Carla Mattis was a Nittany Lion, having graduated from Penn State with both a bachelor's and master's degree in counseling. Throughout her 13 years with us, she was a true advocate for her students and their well-being. With a constant smile and close attention to detail, Carla has been an outstanding member of our guidance team. She developed an excellent, well-deserved reputation as a counselor who works well with all types of students. Whether her students and their parents were looking for insights in the college admission process or struggling through a difficult period in their lives, Carla always managed to develop a trusting rapport with her students and kept a positive and professional outlook no matter how busy she was. Throughout the years, I have read letters and emails from hundreds of parents thanking her for the counseling and guidance she has given their children. Here's an excerpt from one of those letters. Your door is always open to discuss courses, plan schedules, and make last-minute changes. The guidance, coaching, and advice you have provided to our son and to us during his senior year college search was extremely valuable. And from one of her students says, Mrs. Mattis is a highly dedicated counselor who generally cares about making sure that I always stay on track. And from one of her colleagues, there's a quote, it has been a privilege for me to work by her side. Carla has always put students first and has an unsurpassed ability to emphasize with students and make them feel welcome. I've long admired just how genuine she is, and she is simply a good person. And that goodness radiates from her in her work with students. Something few of us knew about Carla is that when she was younger, she worked on her family's 235-acre farm in Pennsylvania, where she conducted educational tours about pumpkins for the community and the schools. She also assisted with the daily operations of management and marketing for the farm and even raised honeybees. Now we can see where her down-to-earth values and incredible work ethic comes from. Then she moved to New York. I can't help but think of that 1970s show's Green Acres, but Carla's life direction was quite the opposite of Eva Gabor's in that sitcom. Carla left the farm chores for the city and the city lights of New York. She became the go-to person in the counseling office for all of the best restaurants in the city. In her retirement, we know that she will continue her connection to nature, tending her garden at her home and spending quality time with her family and her two dogs, Daisy and Savvy. We all wish Mrs. Mattis much joy and relaxation in her retirement and thank her for all that she has done for the countless students she has touched at Pelham Memorial High School. Congratulations, Carla Mattis.
Thank you, Mrs. Clark. Our next honoree tonight is Janet Williamson. And introducing her tonight or speaking on her behalf, I believe, get my list.
It's
that
me, Tanya.
Thank you. I knew it was either you or Mrs. Gilbert. Thank you.
Janet Williamson. So 33 years of teaching and well over 500 lives impacted. Janet Williamson is a force to be reckoned with. Quote, you can't retire from being great. Janet Williamson began her teaching career in Ferrisburg Central School in rural Vermont. As a learning specialist and Chapter 1 teacher, she began her work with some of the school's neediest learners. Working hard to hone in on her craft, Janet taught small groups of students the skills necessary to become confident readers. In addition to working with students on reading, Janet also worked across disciplines with focus on helping students who needed additional supports. Janet was meant to do this work. And one of Janet's evaluations, Dr. Richard Lamato said, "The children have a nice relationship with their teacher. Miss Williamson has developed a level of trust with them. It was amazing to see the confidence and skill growth they demonstrated throughout the lesson. The children worked comfortably with one another and were willing to take risks because their teacher has made them comfortable to do so." Janet also worked hard to engage her parent population. In one review, Janet was thanked for initiating several projects to inform parents and staff members of the benefits of the Reading Recovery Program. She hosted a parent breakfast, had open classroom visitations, all with an eye for student improvement. Her building administrator at that time stated that this work was noteworthy and commendable. Interest in focusing in on students who require a special touch and care has always been evident when looking collectively at her professional career as an educator. From independent to public schools, Janet has taught in a variety of educational settings. Each experience further elevating her repertoire of skills and strategies, all for the benefit of the children that she was charged to teach. Arriving in Pelham in the 90s, she has had the pleasure of working in all 4 of the elementary schools. As the most senior member of the reading department, her voice and opinions on teaching reading will be missed by her colleagues. Janet has no qualms about being outspoken when it comes to reading. She is passionate and enjoys the art of teaching reading. Janet has made many friends district-wide through her travels. They often comment about her funny sense of humor and absolute dedication to making sure that her students learn. The last few years, I've had the pleasure of working with Janet and getting to know her aside from teaching, and I've really enjoyed our long talks, Janet. Janet, I wish you all the best as you prepare to retire. I'm pretty sure you will continue to enjoy long weekends in Vermont with your furry friends, Zach, Ellie, and Murphy, along for the ride. Janet, we will miss you at Colonial School. Take care.
Thank you. Our next honoree tonight is Pat Sadlich, and I believe Miss Sabia will be sharing some words about Pat.
Yes, thank you. Great inventors and leaders are not born. They are motivated and inspired to do great things by great teachers like you. This certainly holds true for Pat Sadlich. Pat worked in the middle school for 22 years. She has transformed the technology program and enriched the lives of so many students. Students have described her as kind, creative, smart, and kind of cool. Pat is one of the kindest people you will ever come in contact with. She is always willing to take an extra responsibility in the middle school. I will miss all her students coming by my office to share all their latest creations. Pat has a unique ability to help every student feel that their project is the most important project. Your class is always the first class I stop on when I do tours for prospective families. It has always set the stage for such wonderful programs. It never fails that when we leave your class, families are in awe of the amazing work you do with all the students. Whether it's building bridges, cars, creating video games, coding, 3D printing, or so many other amazing projects, you inspire students and you create, your room has an energy that's palpable. Words cannot express how much I have valued our time together. You have been a consummate professional, someone who has led by example and truly leads with your heart. You have inspired our students to become thinkers, think out of the box, imagine, create. You hold the students to a high standard and yourself to even a higher standard. As you move to the next chapter in your life, I hope you know that you leave behind a legacy of love, laughter, and inspiration, and touch the lives and hearts of everyone you have come in contact with. Thank you, Pat, for being such an inspiration to us all. Congratulations on your retirement. I know how much you want to be with your family and spend more time with them, and I wish you nothing but the best. I love you, Pat.
Lynn, I want to thank you, and I want to thank everyone at Pelham, Dr. Garcia, Mr. Sabalas, Dr. Champ, you've been unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pat. Thanks for everything you've done. We're going to miss you for sure. Our next honoree tonight is Maureen Morrissey, and I'm inviting Trish Fitzgerald to come and speak on Maureen's behalf tonight.
Okay, Maureen, take a deep breath. Here we go, because I just took a deep one. Daughter, mother, grandmother, teacher, author, professor, webmaster, colleague, friend. These are just a few of the many roles that Maureen juggles while always putting her students first. In 1983, Maureen graduated with a bachelor's degree from the University of Arizona at Tucson, and later graduated with her master's degree from the University of Arizona in 1987. Little did she know, but her twin girls, Elizabeth and Melissa, would arrive 5 weeks early and be able to attend their first milestone event, their mother's graduation. Maureen's teaching career began in 1983 in Tucson, Arizona, as she took on the role of bilingual teacher. In 1990, Maureen and her family moved back to New York, and Maureen continued her career as a bilingual teacher, this time in the Port Chester Union Free School District. Finally, in September of 1999, Maureen became a Hutchinson School Bear and has never left until today. In her 21 years at Hutchinson, Maureen has taught kindergarten, first grade, third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade. Every possible grade level except for second grade. And on one occasion was moved from her role as a kindergarten teacher to that of a fourth grade teacher only 2 days before the start of the school year. To say that Maureen is a flexible and versatile educator is an understatement. She's been a grade level colleague to almost every team, and her experience, wisdom, and knowledge of curriculum and sound instruction is often sought after by her colleagues and her administrators. While balancing her duties as a classroom teacher and a mom, she published articles in teacher magazines and a chapter in a book on teaching. She has presented at conferences around the country and has taught several in-service classes through various teacher centers. In 1985, Maureen even applied to be the teacher in space, but unfortunately at that time, she didn't have enough years in the classroom. Maureen, you have had a full career in the field of education, teaching both students and adults. The number of lives you have touched through your role as a classroom teacher and a mentor teacher to your mentees, student teachers, and graduate literacy students demonstrates your true dedication and love of the teaching profession. In talking with several of your colleagues, they describe you as the true definition of a team player, helping to try out new ideas, always be a sounding board, and even rolling up your sleeves and pitching, or more like dancing into events like our beloved dance-a-thon and town meetings. You are known to never save anything and would often comment that that was because next year you would have a new class with different needs, and therefore you need to create lessons specific to them. Your tech-savvy ability made you an unofficial tech support for the third floor, and when one of your colleagues put it, she just embodies what it means to be a great teacher. I will miss her. Popping into your classroom was always a joy. You were never that sage on the stage, but one who circulated around the room, facilitating the learning process as the students worked collaboratively together. You didn't just teach the habits of mind, but embedded them into every lesson so that your students could implement and use them as successful learning tools. On behalf of the Hutchinson School staff, students, and families, please know that you will be truly missed. We promise to take what you've taught us and use it to be successful, and we wish you only the best in retirement. We know you have many adventures awaiting you, including your son's wedding, and feel honored that we were able to work and learn from you for so many amazing years. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Congratulations. Our next honoree this evening is Julie Lieberson, and I would invite Janine Carr to come and speak to us on behalf of Julie.
Actually, we're going to split it if you don't mind.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Good evening.
Yes, because I couldn't unmute just now, so that's good. Sorry.
Principal Janine Carr and I are proud to speak on behalf of our friend and colleague, Julie Lieberson. Julie began working in Pelham in 1992. She served as a classroom teacher and later as a reading teacher, working in all 4 elementary schools. Her heart, however, belongs to Prospect Hill. Julie has also served as the K-5 Staff Development Co-Coordinator, the facilitator of Pelham's Curriculum and Instruction Council, and most recently as the K-5 ELA Staff Developer. She splits her time between supporting struggling readers and facilitating top-notch reading and writing instruction in the district. Julie truly possesses an amazing wealth of knowledge about literacy instruction. She also knows everyone there is to know in the literacy world, including the first name of every important vendor. I have been blessed to work with Julie in my current role for the last 5 years. She has helped create and refine Pelham's reading and writing programs. She's responsible for numerous projects, including running hundreds of PD sessions, sitting in on all consultant-led PD, purchasing, organizing, and distributing all the ELA resources K-5, classroom libraries, writing grants, running parent info nights, coaching new and veteran staff, and overseeing the rollout of the Teachers College units. And that's only half her schedule. Julie also is a published writer and has served on numerous committees in the district. Most notably, she has served for quite a long time as the Teacher Center Liaison and the BEP Liaison. Julie has given up countless hours and days with her loving husband, Danny, and son, Jake, in order to grow Pelham's programs, to support our teachers, and to help our students flourish as readers and writers. She also is one of the calmest, most patient women I know. She has displayed endless patience working with me over the last 5 years. Julie's wisdom, work ethic, and love of learning changed my professional life and the lives of so many other Pelham educators. Julie gives her whole heart and soul to her students and to the teachers of the Pelham schools.
So as Maria shared, Julie began her career as a teacher, and even though that was the beginning of her career, her colleagues, even back then, described her as someone who always went above and beyond for her students. For example, her colleagues shared that when she taught first grade, she always did this interdisciplinary unit on fruit. Students would categorize fruit, they would measure fruit, they would weigh the fruit, they would paint the fruit, they would make a big book about fruit, they would taste the fruit, they would go on a class trip to the fruit and vegetable store on Main Street in Rochelle, and it didn't stop there. Then they went back to Prospect Hill, and of course they set up a fruit street. I mean, if you can make fruit exciting to a group of 6 and 7-year-olds, you can only imagine what she is doing now in her career. She has never slowed down, and the kids are just as excited today to learn with her as they were back then. One of her colleagues, Mrs. Martin, shared with me that Julie has a unique way of motivating adults and children, and not just through her insanely good baking ability. During her PD session, she sets a tone of mutual understanding right from the start, explains her goal for the day, follows the timeline, but always stops to clarify and then asks, "Are we good?" Julie makes you want to be better at your craft and she invites you to learn alongside her on the journey of ELA, whether it be whole language, DRA, balanced literacy, math, and most recently, Teachers College. Julie has always been ready to take on a new challenge, and to say that she's a lifelong learner is an understatement. Julie, there will never be another paper bag princess at Prospect Hill quite like you. I will definitely miss our ELA and MTSS talks. Whether we agreed or disagreed with each other, one thing was for certain, we always ended with smiles and laughter and a mutual respect for each other. In my 3 years in Pelham, I have developed such an appreciation for who you are as a professional and as a friend. On behalf of Maria, myself, your Prospect Hill family, and the Pelham community, congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. We are extremely grateful for the assistance, guidance, and outstanding leadership you have provided throughout the years. You have made a lasting impression in Pelham through the lives of the students you have taught and the teachers you have encouraged along the way. Enjoy this new journey. Happy retirement.
I have to thank you, and I loved working with you, Janine and Maria, and I have to say that I loved every day in Pelham. I loved every teaching day, and there's going to be so many things that I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss being crossed in the morning by a crossing guard, because that like makes you stay forever young, that a crossing guard crosses you. I'm going to miss our FTDs, our first day outfits, to see what everybody's wearing on the first day of school. And Pelham is a wonderful place and such a wonderful community. And I thank you for being able to be in Pelham as a teacher.
Thank you so much, Julie, and thank you, Janine and Maria. Our next honoree this evening is Mary Ellen Garcia, and I would invite Janine Carr again to do the honors of honoring Mary Ellen.
These retirees are killing me this year. You're going to have to pick me up off the floor if we're back in the building next year crying. Okay, tonight we celebrate Mary Ellen for dedicating 37 years to the Pelham School District. Mary Ellen has always dreamed of becoming a teacher back from when she was a little girl, a student at Hutchinson. Her dream came true in 1984 when she got her first teaching job in Pelham. Most recently, she served as our resource room teacher. Mary Ellen comes to work with a smile on her face every single day. And in addition to that smile, she always has the best outfit on from Talbot's with matching shoes and sometimes a matching vest. It's amazing. She's usually one of the first to arrive, and the staff knows that they can always go to her for help, whether it's asking advice on how to support a struggling student or answering a question about a CSE. She began each morning greeting the kindergartners as they came in, ensuring they had a smooth transition to their day, and then she would stop for me. With her 37 years in Pelham, Mrs. Garcia has helped so many students reach their fullest potential. She supports the academic needs of students, but has always kept their social, emotional needs at the forefront of her work. She always made sure kids and families felt connected, whether it was staying on the phone with a parent to answer a question or helping to organize our Connect Kids initiative to make sure each student felt connected to its adult in the building. A few of Meg's unofficial roles include social committee chair, always getting the staff together in fun ways. She was always an active Spirit Day participant. She always had a great shirt on, whether it was Prospect Hill, whether it said Boss across the front. World Read Aloud Day, she comes in dressed as Where's Waldo, always participating with a smile on her face. She was always the resident DJ at our holiday show, sitting on the stage with kids, making sure they were able to participate in some way. She's been a mentor to a countless number of teachers, both officially and unofficially, and I should say mentor to new administrator me. She helped to start up our spelling bee. She coordinates everything RTI and MTSS, and I don't know where that's going to go next year, but we'll try our best. She schedules the state test. Right before COVID, we were completely scheduled to administer state tests. We had our proctors in place. Everyone knew where we were going. Her schedule's always set. She is a SEPTA rep, always gives some time at lunch duty, which I love. And the best role is teacher in charge. And she showed me just how in charge she could be on my first day when we actually had a lockdown. It was my first day at Prospect Hill. And she just got on that radio and started telling people where to go. And then she stopped herself and looked at me and said, "Is this okay?" And I was like, yeah. That is Mary Ellen. Recently, our staff set up a kudos board as a tribute. Some of the words that popped out to me were the one and only, the foundational rock, mentor, supportive colleague, and my personal favorite, the legend. One of our teachers, Mrs. Martin, shared the following anecdote with me. One day I looked out my window and there was Mary Ellen with her students weeding and planting bulbs and sunflowers around the monument at the Friendship Circle. Sorry. It was such a beautiful sight because the children were fully engaged and taking ownership of that plot of soil. They watered it each day, and it began to blossom and grow until the flowers were taller than Mary Ellen. All I could think as I photographed this was, Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? It wasn't just the flowers that she tended to, it was her students as well. They blossomed under her tutelage and watchful nurturing, just like the flowers did. Mary Ellen dedicates a bulletin board in her room each year to the students. She has pictures of them that she displays proudly on it. The kids feel so important and so proud when they are hanging up on her wall of fame. You can hear the kids as they walk into the room say to their friends, look, that's me. Mary Ellen, your unwavering commitment and love for your students is commendable. I know I speak for everyone when I say we cannot imagine Prospect Hill without you. We wish you the very best. I hope you enjoy this next chapter in your life. May it include many more trips to Talbot's, a few more aqua jogs, visits to national parks, and of course, spending time with your husband, who I see joined you tonight, and of course, your son, Anderson, who I know you are so always super, super proud of. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you, Janine, for those kind words. Thank you for those kind words, Janine. I'm a proud Hutchinson School graduate, a proud Pelham Pelican, and it's been a privilege to be both a student and a teacher in the Pelham Public Schools. Thank you so much.
And I'm lucky that I keep her.
Thank you so much. Our next honoree tonight is Laura Acoustic. And I'll be inviting Lynn Sabia to honor Lori tonight.
Rita Pearson stated it best. Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. This certainly describes Lori Cusick. Lori's been a special education teacher in the middle school for 20 years. Students describe her as smart, funny, having nice hair, and she's always asked about her hair, and kids noticed it, and they described her as having nice hair and never giving up on you. It's hard to put into words just how much you've meant to hundreds of students and families whose lives you have touched. As an educator, you have motivated children to work hard, believe in themselves, and take risks, and to know that it's okay to make mistakes. Through these mistakes, you have taught students the importance of persistence. As I watch in your classroom, I was able to see firsthand the children's faces light up when they learned a new concept, made connections, and gained confidence. I have learned so much from you as a teacher, as a person, and as a friend. It's hard to believe that you will not be with us when school starts. You have been a staple. To this day, I'm still getting a plethora of emails from parents and students about how you have changed their lives and the lives of their children, and how much you have taught them. Just 2 days ago, a student wrote to Lori about how she taught her to read when she was in the 6th grade. As you move on to the next chapter in your life, you leave behind a legacy of love, hope, and laughter. I am so blessed to have shared the experience of the Paperclip Project with you. Visiting Whitwell Middle School, experiencing the Children's Holocaust Museum will live forever and be part of me. It is etched in my heart. Because of you, this will be part of the middle school curriculum, and the message will continue to touch the lives of us all. In the rail car on the side of the wall, there was a plaque that read, "Believe in the power of the individual to make a difference in the world," by Verna Freeman. You have made a difference to so many lives because you have believed in them. Congratulations, Lori, and on your retirement, and we will miss you dearly. I love you.
Thank you so much. I love my job, and this is so hard because I love it so much, and you made it wonderful, and thank you all so much. Love you.
Congratulations, Lori. Our next honoree is Laura Connors. And I believe Mrs. Clark will be introducing and honoring Laura tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Champ. Well, I have to say, I don't know many people who can say they remained at the same job for 36 years in this day and age. But here tonight, we are honored to celebrate one such person, Mrs. Laura Connors. Laura became a mathematics teacher at our high school in February 1984, replacing a colleague who was having a baby. She received her tenure in 1987 and has served in various roles in addition to teaching mathematics throughout her years. For several years, she was a lead math teacher, a curriculum coach, the Student Association treasurer, and for many years, she was the lead statistician for the PMHS Olympics. Every year, she double and triple checked all the figures as the entire student body waited breathlessly for her to finalize every number prior to announcing the first, second, and third place winner of the Olympics. As a teacher, she's taught course 1, 2, and 3, which was the math sequence in the 80s and 90s, for those of you who weren't around at that time. What was very surprising to me is that I found that she also taught basic computer science as well as comp science 1, 2, and 3. Digging a bit further into her file, I found out that she has a Master's of Science in Educational Computing. Who knew? So Laura's dedication and work ethic is second to none. She was always the last person to leave the math office in the evenings. She would spend an extraordinary amount of time planning and assessing her instruction. She was always available to her students and for extra help as well as support. Her students recognized how much effort and passion she put into her teaching, and they always knew that she truly cared about each and every one of them. Laura's spirit and energy have inspired many of our students to become mathematicians. She has built trust amongst the students that enable them to take risks as learners. She's a shining star who illuminates the day with her tremendous sense of humor and her smiling demeanor. On a personal note, I'm going to miss my morning phone calls. Laura would always let me know if conditions in the classroom were not up to the Pelham standard. If her room was too hot or the workplace was too cold, she'd always be honest and patient with me as I tried to resolve the problem. In addition to mathematics, Laura is an avid New York Mets fan. So the song, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," always comes to mind in the spring when I see Laura preparing to drive to a Mets game after school. I remember when they were doing construction on the 3rd Avenue Bridge off the Hutchinson River Parkway. I checked the digital version of the Pelham Weekly, and I let her know if it would be smooth sailing with her upcoming drive. And speaking of driving, Laura, you will no longer have to drive over, yes, it is still the TZ Bridge as far as you and I are concerned. You will not have to drive over the TZ Bridge to come to work. So I'm wondering, what are you going to do with all of that money you won't be spending on tolls anymore? And I'm sure you can find a fun way to spend it. All kidding aside, Laura, you will be incredibly missed by the thousands of students you have taught, the families you've known, and the friendship and admiration you have formed with your colleagues at PMHS. With sadness, tinged with a great deal of jealousy from your colleagues, we sincerely wish you the best in your retirement, and thank you all for what you have done for the students of PMHS. Congratulations, you will be missed, Laura.
Congratulations, Laura.
Thank you. To have spent my entire career at Pelham has been pretty special. I've worked with such great students over the years and an exceptional staff, and I am forever grateful that Pelham took the chance on me and hired me back in February of 1984. It's been a blessing, and I wish the Pelham School District all the best in the future. I will be back to visit because this is not a way to end your last year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're always looking for substitute teachers. Congratulations, Laura. And our final teacher candidate, like I'm talking about tenure, our final honoree tonight of the teaching ranks is Nancy Baird. And I believe Tanya Wilson will be sharing some comments to honor Nancy this evening.
Nope, you got me.
Oh, sorry, I should have looked at my notes.
That's okay.
Mrs. Gilbert, thank you.
That's okay, because in honoring Nancy Baird, who has worked in the Pelham schools for 25 years, I have to honor her. And her wish was not to have a tribute to her career, but to acknowledge and thank all of you. She was a Simonite parent and neighbor to the school, but she wants you to know how grateful she is for the many rewarding years she had teaching what she loves most. She wanted to thank her colleagues, the families, and the friends that she met along the way, the Board of Education, and the community for their appreciation and really commitment to the arts. And she hopes that in the years to come that you will continue to support the arts as you have over the years. I will say a couple things though. Nancy's art colleagues have consistently been grateful for sharing her talents. Siwanoy, when I came, had all 3 art teachers and did up until just a couple of years ago. And I always felt blessed we had their collective talents, but it was Nancy who taught them, and her creative genius inspired all of the new art teachers. She has mentored the future many times over. The other thing she taught me was that teaching art should be art for art's sake, to give students a place to create and to express themselves in this very human endeavor. So I have learned much from her, as have so many countless children and adults. So Nancy, I know you're here. A fellow New Englander, I know you'll be spending some time back in New Hampshire. I want to wish you the best, really, in this next chapter. May it be filled with so much joy.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Gilbert. Well, now I have the honor of recognizing our last 2 retirees tonight. And I will begin with Mrs. Gilbert. We had a wonderful time in the administrative team earlier today sharing just some celebrations and appreciations of these 2 women who have been such fixtures in our district. And I begin tonight with Mrs. Gilbert. Susan Gilbert began her work as principal of Siwanoy School in 2003 and has been a fixture at the school for 17 years. During her career, she's been a tireless school leader and fearless advocate for children. Each day, she is focused solely on ensuring that every child matters. She's kept a clear focus on developing not just the academic, but the social and emotional wellness of each of her students, long before those were key initiatives in educational circles. She has spearheaded important work in curbing bullying, encouraging kindness, and fostering conversations between children and parents through the Diversity Book Bag Project. Mrs. Gilbert has encouraged students' creativity, and she herself has remained a strong advocate for the arts. She has collaborated to improve the district's literacy program, was heavily involved in bringing the Spanish language instruction to the elementary schools. She was also instrumental in developing the 5th grade Make a Change capstone project and implementing responsive classroom district-wide. Her relentless efforts to create space for children to experience and learn about nature have culminated with the opening of Siwanoy's outdoor classroom last school year, which will impact children for generations to come. A plaque in her honor will be placed in the outdoor classroom to commemorate her commitment to Siwanoy School and her persistence and efforts to see that the dream of an outdoor classroom where students can engage with, appreciate, and learn to love the environment has become a reality for the students of Siwanoy. When I asked her staff what they most appreciated about her, they had a lot to say. So here's a word cloud. If I can share my screen momentarily. Sorry, there we go. So here is a word cloud highlighting the most commonly used words to describe Susan. And let me read just the top 10 of the many incredibly appreciative comments that were contributed by her staff when asked the question, what has Susan Gilbert meant to you in her time as principal of Siwanoy? and what are the qualities you will most miss? Susan was always aware of the needs of that one or two children who needed extra help in a specific class. It was important to her that every child thrive and be respected for where they were, not where they should be. Her love for children was evident every day. She loved every one of them, and they knew it. Her door was always open, so you could get a few minutes. We had a good, in-depth conversations about teaching and learning. She's been thoughtful and insightful about her work and our work together. There's never been someone who's cared for and loved children more than Susan Gilbert. She selflessly fought for children, made them feel important and heard. Hundreds of children's lives were changed for the better because Susan believed in them. Susan could always see the big picture, whether stressing about new district initiatives, student behavior, parent emails, etc. Susan's advice always came from a calm place. Susan is an ambassador for quality education while tending to the social and emotional needs of the students. She's made an impact on all of us. Susan knew every student. You could stop her in the hallway and ask advice about a student at any moment of the day, and she always knew how to respond. She's the heart of our motto, every child matters, but I would add, every teacher matters to Susan. She's also one of the most compassionate people I know. She's a continuous learner and encourages us to learn new things and see new perspectives. Susan has been a devoted leader, mentor, cheerleader, advocate, and friend. She exudes passion in everything she does. She truly cares about her staff, the families of Siwanoy, and each student on a personal and individual level. Susan appreciates everyone for who they truly are. She sees everyone's true potential and sees the best in everyone. She always assumes positive intent. She thinks about where people are coming from and what may drive their reactions to the concerns they have. Forget how to unshare. Sorry about that. There we go. Thank you. I had to get back to the video. So these statements that I just shared truly capture who Susan is so well from the perspective of the staff that she's worked side by side with for so many years. Since day one in the district, I was impressed with the fact that every person in her school knew and could recite the school motto unprompted. That does not happen often in schools. It rarely happens, and that's only something that comes from cultivation and nurturing of a true school belief and value. That told me a lot about the heart of who Susan was as an educational leader and about the culture that she has built, and now the legacy that she will leave behind. Susan, thank you for embodying that motto of Siwanoy, a place where every child matters. Thank you for knowing and caring about every single child that walked through the doors of your school, and for carrying your contributions to the district as a whole. Congratulations and all the best as you begin this new chapter of life. Your leadership and your friendship will be missed. Congratulations.
I want to say something.
Please.
It would have been weird enough in the high school, but this is a very strange, a strange way to be doing this. Yes. And so if I, everybody goes with who you're retiring. But it is an emotional time. So if I get emotional, forgive me. So I wrote a couple things down so I wouldn't forget. But I thank you, Cheryl, and all of you for your generous thoughts and stories and kind words. I've been touched by so many over the 17 years that I've been at Siwanoy. Not everybody who gets to come to work and be surrounded by children. How lucky am I to have this job? Seeing children engage in the pursuit of knowledge, understanding, inquiry, and wonder with their teachers and by their side. I want to thank all of you. You're the village. You've helped me raise the future. You've taught me so much. The children have taught me so much. I hope in some way I've lived up to the mission that to teach children to be kind, that learning comes with struggle, that each and every one of them matters. And I hope that I thought all of you, the proverbial village, I hope that all of you, the proverbial village, will continue to pursue what's best for the children in Pelham. This past week, I joined my principal colleagues in interviewing candidates for teaching positions. A lot of them. So I will go out doing one of the most important jobs of a principal: to hire the best, to support them in their work, carry on the education of the next generation. These young men and women that we interviewed, they chose to apply to Pelham, recognizing the mission of the Pelham Public Schools and the commitment that you have to the student and to the community. It's been a good run. I will be thinking of all of you as you navigate in this uncertain future, but I am confident you'll figure it out together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. And our last honoree this evening, Janine Clark. Janine Clark came to Pelham in 2004. Under her leadership, Pelham Memorial High School has maintained extremely high graduation rates and seen significant increases in students attending top-tier colleges and universities. She's built a strong AP program, increasing both the number of course offerings as well as the quantity of students accessing those rigorous courses. She's partnered with colleagues to create additional options for other college credit-bearing courses as well, and oversaw the implementation of open enrollment to remove barriers that had traditionally prevented students from accessing these important learning opportunities. Her experience and leadership were essential in building the past 2 strategic plans, which have led to substantial curriculum changes, including the addition of Mandarin as a world language. On her tenure, she has served on countless district committees, most recently, and maybe most importantly, serving as a co-chair of the district's Diversity and Cultural Competence Committee, with a focus on equity, inclusion, which have been her lifelong passion. Mrs. Clark has also been an advocate for students' participation in athletics and extracurricular activities, and she has been a literal fixture at hundreds of school events over the years, celebrating the achievements of her students. For this reason, a plaque honoring her service to the school and the district will be placed near the Pelham Memorial High School auditorium, a place where she spent countless days and nights celebrating, honoring her students and all of their many, many well-deserved accomplishments. When her staff was asked what they most appreciated about her, they had a lot to say too. Couldn't publish it all. No, I'm just kidding. But let me show you a word cloud of what her staff had to say about her. And let me also share some of her comments. When asked what Janine Clark has meant to you in her time as principal of Pelham Memorial High School and what qualities you will miss most. Janine truly cares about the students. We are so lucky that we had her as our principal during distance learning especially. Janine Clark has been a consistent advocate for students and teachers in her years at Pelham Memorial High School. Janine was hilarious at faculty meetings. Her honesty was refreshing. She would say the things that we were thinking as teachers. Janine is firm but fair, truthful, and wise. Janine's integrity, always present in communication, negotiating situations. Her insight into people is something I trusted. Janine always made me feel that I could come to her with any questions or concerns. She always listened and took action on what she could help with. Janine always welcomed each student at the front door every morning with a warm smile and greeting. Janine has shown that as a principal, she's there for her students, not just in her office, but throughout the building every day. I felt cared for. There was a time that I was struggling a lot personally, and she was there helping me in whatever way she could. Janine has always been kind and respectful to all of the students. It's important to admit what we want to receive. Her sense of humor was my favorite thing. A meeting with Janine means we will be laughing at some point. She has a quick wit and a joyful heart. Conscientious. Janine has given us 110%. She's been active on numerous committees that have centered around making Pelham Memorial High School an inviting and welcoming space for our entire student body. Did I present that correctly? Did you see the word cloud? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Do it one more time. You gotta see it. Apologize. There we go. Sent. There we are. And hopefully you can see some of those words coming to life. Janine at the center, always caring, knowing, welcoming every morning. Time, years, supportive, fair, listener, wonderful humor. I have seen these traits in her as well in my short time working with her. And as a former high school principal myself, Janine and I connected immediately when I came to Pelham. And she has been a solid rock for me through the past 3 most unusual years. Janine, thank you for your steady caring, your stellar leadership, and that has made a difference in the lives of thousands of students in our district. We will miss you so much and wish you all the best in the next most well-deserved chapter of your life. I look forward to sharing the most unusual graduation ever with you this Saturday. Congratulations and all the best in the future, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Champ, for your extremely kind words, and what an honor. I'm speechless, but I wrote a few words anyway, because you know me.
Good.
It has been an honor to be part of the Pelham Public Schools, and I've been privileged to work with so many fine educators for the past 16 years. As I leave Pelham, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for the support that I received from the Board of Education, my exceptional administrative colleagues, the outstanding faculty and staff of PMHS, and the entire Pelham community. I will be forever thankful every day I spent serving as principal of Pelham Memorial High School, and will never forget the many students, families, and others that I have come to know. Well, I am now looking forward to the next phase of my life. Leaving a place that has been home for 16 years will be and is the hardest part. I wish the best of luck to Mr. Mark Berkowitz, the new PMHS principal, effective next Wednesday, and I pass the torch on to him. Thank you all for this evening.
Thank you so much, Janine. And I so wish that we could all celebrate this in person together the way that we normally would. But I know that there is a date in the future where we will be able to come and have the party that each one of you deserves and celebrate together. And of course, by then you will have that usual retirement looking 15 years younger thing that we will be jealous of. But we all very much look forward to that day and giving you all the celebration in person that you so deserve. Thank you so much for your work and your commitment to the district. I'm just going to open it up before we close to see if any of the board or anyone wants to just share any last thanks and congratulations to any of our candidates.
Can I say something?
Yes, John, please.
I was on the board when both Janine and Susan were hired. So I feel good about that. I feel like we made a good decision back then. And I just can't express how much it meant to the Pelham community that you guys have been such stalwart professionals and such brilliant educators. I wish everybody that we hired was as brilliant as you guys have been. So I wish you a wonderful retirement and come back and say hi.
Thank you, Mr. Bryce.
So I
Thank
would
you,
just
John.
like to say something as well. With 4 kids, it seems like most of the people who are retiring this evening have touched our family in some way. Almost everyone. So on behalf of all of the parents of Pelham and the students, thank you all so much. We will miss you hugely on a personal level and also as the wonderful educators and administrators that you are. So thank you.
Thank you, Leah.
Anyone else?
Well, earlier I said there are big shoes to fill, and these comments have certainly proven that. The longevity and the dedication to Pelham is certainly inspiring and a really special way to end our last board meeting. Wish you guys all the best. Okay.
Well, and I should let you know there's fireworks going off in my neighborhood in your honor. So they're probably going off in everyone's neighborhood.
Here too.
So take those, and tonight every firework that goes off is in honor of this outstanding group of educators and leaders. Thank you all so much for your years of service. Thank you for your commitment. We applaud you one more time before we wish you well tonight. Best of luck on your next chapter, and come back and share with us everything that you're doing and enjoying. All the best. Be safe, be well, take care. Well done. Okay. And with that, Jessica, I think I turn it back to you. That is
Several
definitely
participants have left the meeting. This is when we would normally take a little break, and Alex would take a bunch of
Pictures.
pictures in the back.
Yes.
I'm having like flashbacks to what normal, school life is like. So anyhow, this is still very special. I'm glad that we got the time to do that.
Definitely a highlight of the year.
Yes.
A lot of true talent. It's a bittersweet night for sure.
Yes. So if I have my bearings, we are up to 4.3, which is Board of Education Committee reports. I'm not sure we had any committee meetings. Any updates? Okay, so 4.4 is Assistant Superintendent's update on authentic learning. Garcia.
Yes, so good evening. It's just really hard to kind of follow any of that. I mean, they've given so much to the school district and also other places they've worked at and working with kids for so long. So, it's just a great loss when people do leave the district, but board members know better than I do how much influence they've had on the lives of children and generations. So we wish them all the best. Just briefly, I just want to talk about moving ahead to next week, when I know that we mentioned to the public several times that we're going to provide a bunch of online resources for parents. And, our administrative team has been working behind the scenes to prepare that set of resources and all those materials. We are actually identifying which teachers who are going to be like the summer coordinators, where parents can actually contact them if they have any questions. And really the work that is going to be provided and the different links is pretty impressive at this point. We have this list of all these different things, like the English language arts favorite resources, just a site by teachers and to kind of prepare for kids and share with them that they can kind of explore. We have things like the Teachers College Readers Writers Project resources for parents, so parents can even learn more about our literacy program and help their kids over the summer. We have something called Wonderopolis, which is a site where they have an article day written about an interesting topic for students. We have Comic Creator, where students kind of create their own comics. You get kind of the gist of it. In the sciences as well, we have many different resources for STEAM connected to the Hall of Science, many different activities for kids to do. Even the web-based resources for math, like the IXL, which is more of our traditional program we've had for a while, but something new called Dreambox Learning, which is pretty exciting, which is another resource in mathematics that students can access. And again, also in different subject areas like social studies as well, different virtual experiences, virtual tours, historically and geographically for kids. And it's I think, kind of a living document as well. So there'll be some resources which will be, I'm hoping that we can add on to that over time and get some feedback from parents and see, how it's going to go. It's just another way to kind of keep the embers warm along the summer month. And we hope to have it available. We will have it available for about 6 weeks. And then we'll see where it goes in August. So, we're happy to present that. Parents will be able to find all those resources. The kids will be able to find those resources on the individual school homepages. There won't be a link to kind of go into the class link and log in. It will just be available on their homepages. So I think that would be great and easy access for that for the kids. So I just want to talk about that briefly and share that with everyone. Later this week, there will be a note or an email to parents by the two teachers, the teachers who are kind of overseeing these resources, to kind of welcome parents and welcome kids to contact them and hear, present where they are, where they can be found. And I think it'll be a great opportunity. We've never really done it before, so it'll be a great opportunity for kids to kind of extend their learning through that summer month. That's my report. Next week, because I know, again, we're meeting next week, I'm going to share a little bit more about my experience in the regional task force, the reopening task force. There was a meeting this past Monday, but I'm going to share that for next week.
Thanks so much, Steve.
Sure.
4.5 is Assistant Superintendent's update on the whole child. Ms. Chung.
Thank you. Good evening. I would like to start out by congratulating 2 of our high school counselors for being recognized by the New York State Association for College Admissions and Counseling. Mr. Luis Barcelo received the 2020 Distinguished Service Award for his exceptional service to the profession. Ms. Gina Archer was featured in the Members Spotlight section for her unwavering advocacy for her students. Congratulations to both counselors. On the social emotional front, our psychologist, Dr. Tiziana Didona from the middle school and Dr. Sarah DeSoy from Prospect Hill participated in a discussion on issues children may be facing due to the pandemic, courtesy of the Manor Club. These conversations are so important for the school staff to engage in with the community so we can combine the efforts and support our students during and post-pandemic, which I hope we will be in soon. In regard to special education programs and services, as everyone is aware, the governor has allowed us to offer in-person extended school year services for those students with disabilities who qualify. Districts across the state are trying to determine how they can offer the in-person, offer a combination of in-person and remote, or just continue with the remote summer program. We were able to find enough teachers and staff to sign up to offer the in-person program for our students. And we did have some parents that opted to stay remote. So we'll be offering both, a combination. While the in-person program is not going to look the same as previous years, obviously, due to the different guidelines that we need to abide by, but we're definitely looking forward to having students and teachers back in our building starting July 6th. Thank you.
Thank you. And now Mr. Ricky for Assistant Superintendent's update on business.
Hi, good evening, and congratulations to all of the retirees. That was really wonderful to hear. And in the business office, we know we're going to hear from just about all of them because we handle other retiree health insurance. So we'll be able to give you updates and let you know how they're doing. And you're right, they will all look terrific. Tonight, we've got a couple of items. You saw our insurance renewals with the New York Schools Insurance Reciprocal. We have 2 renewals, one for the school district for all of our general liability and regular insurances, as well as our builder's risk policy. And that has to do with our building at the Hutchinson School to make sure we're just properly covered And God forbid anything were to happen, we have all that coverages that we need. We are going to be going out on July 2nd for our bands for the money to help pay for that Hutchinson School and for the capital projects. It's going to be a $20 million ban, $10 million renewal of the band money that we went out for last year, and $10 million for new money. And that we downsized that a little bit because obviously we are not moving forward at this time with the Prospect Hill addition and ADA work in bathrooms and the interior renovations, just because of the timing and the rebids that are going to be happening. So we expect to be able to do that in November when we go out for the larger ban. With that, we're going to request the board approve the RFPs that we put out for financial advisor services related to our bans and also for bond counsel. And we went out to public for a public request for proposals. We received 2 proposals back from actually our current proposer, for our current vendors. Both of them are leaders in the local market. We found that their pricing for one remained flat and the other one actually came down a little bit, which was encouraging as well. I had an opportunity to sit on an RFP committee recently in another district. They had a little bit larger turnout, came out with the same 2 vendors. So it's interesting to see that these 2 vendors are the ones that is what other districts are picking as well. Got some end of year transfers that are happening, and we'll expect to see more of those as we put all of our books together for the end of the year. We have some very generous donations, as always. The PTA, as you see, there's a rather large donation this year. Usually we see it at this time of the year, we see it in the form of a nice white tent on Franklin Field. This year it's going to be in helping the district support our production company, and as Dr. Champ said, the most unusual graduation we'll ever have at SUNY Purchase. So again, it's very generous of the PTA, and some scholarship donations as well. There's a lot of information in the meeting tonight about reserve resolutions and allocations of fund balance. And really what that's for is that's trying to prepare us for the year-end process. We have the creation and funding of a 2019 tax certiorari reserve. We have ones for prior years. Obviously, now that we're in 19, we want to create that new capital reserve. We want to allocate funds into our TRS sub-fund and also our existing retirement fund. We want to increase the unassigned fund balance to that statutory limit of 4% that we've talked about. And then look at our employee benefit and accrued liability reserve. We call that EBLR. And we don't know what all these final numbers will be. And what this allows is for the accountants and the business office to kind of close the books, make recommendations for these allocations to the audit committee. The audit committee then can kind of look at those recommendations, and then that moves forward to the school board for the final reserve allocations and fund balance allocations when we finally close all the books. That'll probably happen in about a month and a half time. So that'll be happening. So really what we're looking at is we don't know exactly what those numbers are going to be. We kind of have some wide corridors on those allocations amounts, and this is up to amounts that you'll see in some of these reserve resolution and allocation resolutions that you'll see tonight. Also, we have the capital. There's a lot of capital work happening out there at Hutchinson School. We expect some of the steel actually arrived today on a tractor trailer. We expect that steel to be arriving a couple of truckloads a day now. The crane will be arriving Friday evenings, Monday morning, and we should expect to be seeing some steel moving and being erected next week, which is very exciting. We've also had some meetings to talk about the facade and some of the brick, and Mr. Bryce and Mrs. Childs and Mrs. Tita and Mrs. Young have all been on those meetings with us as well. And we're working on that, and we've got some follow-up meetings on the exterior of the brick. Work at Glover is really finishing up, and I think we really want the community to be really proud of the work that's being done there. We've done some paving. We're finishing up with painting of the field house now. Some of the punch list items are still being finished up. We're meeting with the vendor on Friday morning. We think we're going to hit that target date of July 1st, and there'll still be some smaller items to get taken care of. But I know this is going to be something that the community has waited a long time for, and I think everybody will really be proud of what they see when we open that gate and allow people to be able to at least use those passive areas right now. And then when sports are able to start up again July 6th, and we've talked to Town Recreation, and they're working on those programs as well. At the on the annex, the roof replacement work continues with Hall Construction, and then the masonry at the high school, the masonry work, Milcon is working on that. In this evening's meeting, there is a change order request for change order number 1 for just over $100,000. This is related to conditions that were encountered by stairwell D, which is located kind of in that area in between. Kind of where the dumpster is, in between the annex building and the high school. The pricing really came out as part of the original bid. It was alternate number 1, which was originally not awarded as part of the work because we weren't exactly sure what conditions we would find and if we would need to have that work done. Now that the wall's been opened up, it's clearly been identified as a source of water infiltration and area that is in need of some attention, and this is the time and the time when we really want to get that taken care of. And lastly, we're working on the building at 314. If you've driven by, you've seen new sidewalks. The ADA ramp should be finished today. The porch has been stabilized. There's new concrete slab there on the inside of the porch. The electrical work will be starting next week, and we're moving nicely on that project too. We're doing some of that with our inside labor for the carpentry type of items. And lastly, just like to thank the facilities department for all they've been doing. They've been really moving forward with the work to get our schools reset for a September opening. The high school, we've done a lot of work, a lot of painting. I keep seeing all the purchase orders for paint, and it's I think of what we used to pay and what we are painting, and we're getting a great deal. And the rooms that need the attention are certainly getting what they deserve, and the people are working really hard. And we're working to probably bring in some student part-time labor. You'll see that list on July 2nd. We're not going to be able to give everybody all the weeks they were hoping for, but we can certainly use some additional help. And we'll be able to get some more work done just in time for the school year. And we're planning for a full opening. We'll see what happens, but we're planning for it. So that's where I am. Thank you.
Great. And if I could just add one more piece to that, it will be on the agenda within the financial motion section. And that is, we're pleased tonight to present to the board the memorandum of agreement between the district and the Pelham Teachers Association that was ratified by the unit today, overwhelming majority. And I just have to really thank them for their partnership as we'd been in negotiations throughout the early part of the year. And then when COVID hit, the unit came to the table very quickly, understanding that concessions needed to be made in light of the new economic setting that we were all encountering. So we're very appreciative to them and pleased to present a contract memorandum of agreement tonight to the board. It's a 2-year contract with a 0% cost of living increase for those 2 years. So we're, again, incredibly appreciative for the teachers, their commitment, their hard work, and their great understanding of the pressures that are on the community that they serve. And we just appreciate their partnership and happy to bring that to the board tonight.
I'm sorry, I'm back on. I got disconnected. Can you?
Okay. Yep. We can hear you, Just. Yep.
Okay.
I just added. Yep. I just added.
Yeah.
I just added a comment to Jim's report about the teachers MOA with the Teachers Association.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So we've moved on to section 5, which is financial reports and motions. I'd like to take a consent of 5.1 to 5.20. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Sue. Thanks, John. Okay, any questions or comments? Jim, you gave a great rundown. Jess, you had something?
No, I'm not set. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Jim, thanks for the rundown on everything in this. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, 5.21, motion to accept a donation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Leah and Jess. Okay, so so we have 3 donations. Jim touched on some of these. The first one is be it resolved that the board does accept the monetary donation on behalf of the Pelham Union Free School District of $12,405 to support the drive-in graduation for the Pelham Memorial High School class of 2020, and that gratitude be bestowed upon the Pelham Memorial High School PTA. And be it further resolved that we hereby do accept the donation of a flowering tree to be planted on school grounds to honor Janine Clark, principal of Pelham Memorial High School, upon her retirement, and that gratitude be bestowed upon its donor, the Pelham Memorial High School PTA. I guess there's 4 here, actually. I thought that there were 3. The third one is that be it further resolved that we do accept the monetary donation of $500 to the Pelham Memorial High School for monetary scholarship awards for the 2020 graduating class in honor of Walter Arrington, and that gratitude be bestowed upon its donor, Wayne Arrington. And finally, be it further resolved that we do accept a donation on behalf of the Pelham Union Free School District of $200 to the Pelham Memorial High School Chorus, and that gratitude be bestowed upon its donor, the Pelham Country Club. Very generous all throughout this spring, but a lot of generosity. So do I have any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Section 6, Superintendent's Personnel Recommendations. I'd like to take a consent of 6.1 and 6.2. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Sue. And
Yes, it's just we have the recommendation appointment of earth science teacher, which is great. And also we have a part-time teacher who is continuing her service, but every year when we have part-time staff, we have to reappoint them.
right. Thank you. I believe, Millie, that was Sue and Jess. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Section 7, Pupil Personnel Services. We have Schedule D. Do I have a motion to approve Schedule D?
So moved.
Thanks, Ben.
Second.
Thanks, Eileen. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Section 8 is new business. Do we have any new business? Okay, and Section 9, there were no communications or comments from the public. I just checked my email. So, Eileen?
Madam President, would you entertain a motion to adjourn?
I would. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Sue. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
I hope